Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Hey guys. All right, audio check. I've been having too many videos lately where the audio doesn't work, and it's working. Hey guys, my name's Connor. If you're new, I like to learn things with you, usually. Original link to the video, top of the description, simple history, great channel, preemptive like, why are the British so eccentric in war? I mean, I have a lot to say about this subject, but a lot. I have giant admiration. Let's watch the video. All right, let's go. But I have an opinion on this for sure.
Are Brits so eccentric in war? War, it's supposed to be...
All right.
Are Brits? Why are Brits so eccentric in war? War, it's supposed to be grim, disciplined, and deadly serious. But leave it to the British to bring a bit of oddball charm to the battlefield. Whether it's making tea under fire, charging tanks with umbrellas, or playing the bagpipes in a POW.
This guy. Oh, what was his name? This guy's insane, by the way.
Pipes in a POW camp, British troops have long blended courage with eccentricity in ways that often leave the rest of the world baffled. These quirks weren't just for show. They were sometimes bizarre, sometimes brilliant, and always unmistakably British.
I think the hidden brilliance in it is that an army that is maybe not so organized, but ruthless and, like, scary. It's a scary thing, like when people are very intimidating, right? On the face value. But, giant butt. Giant butt. An army that you're facing that is just dead-faced and just says, go onward, is even scarier. And so, I don't know the origin of it, but it's effective, and it's even scarier than acting very brutish, you know?
Tea time waits for no one. Perhaps the most famous British idiosyncrasy was the national obsession with tea. Conflict, destruction, or imminent death, none of it would come between a Brit and a good cuppa. During the Blitz, as German bombs rained down on London, mobile tea vans were dispatched to the ruins. They weren't armed, they didn't carry medical supplies, they carried...
Sir, an ambulance is coming. Forget that. Is the tea on the way?
Kettle.
I'm going to be laughing in a lot of places this video that could come across as indecent, but I've learned about this stuff, and I have giant admiration for the British, so I hope you don't take it that way.
And tea. Firefighters, rescue workers, and ambulance crews all could expect a steaming mug waiting for them as soon as the flames were under control. This tradition followed British soldiers to the front lines. Mobile canteens were sent.
That was maybe the best neck crack I've ever had in my life. Holy crap. Sorry.
This tradition followed British soldiers to the front lines. Mobile canteens were sent into combat zones solely to keep morale high through the simple act of serving tea. When these weren't available, troops improvised. Kettles were jerry-rigged, stoves assembled from scrap, and in the middle of a firefight, you might find a Tommy crouched behind cover, calmly boiling water. One such moment of devotion ended in disaster. In 1944, near the French town of Villers-Bocage, British tank crews paused to brew tea, only to be ambushed and destroyed by a single Tiger tank. That distraction proved fatal. Lesson learned. To prevent future casualties over tea, the British Army took action. Since then, their tanks have come equipped
The solution wasn't, guys, we gotta focus less on tea. All right? No, that wasn't the solution. The solution was never getting rid of tea. It was, let's move tea inside the tank.
With internal boiling vessels, ensuring that a hot drink is always just a flick of a switch away. To this day, British tank crews can make a brew without exposing themselves to enemy fire. Absolute madmen, Jack Churchill and the sword of war.
Yeah, Jack Churchill. This guy's nuts. nuts.
Man going into World War II armed with a long bow and a broadsword, you'd be forgiven for thinking it's a myth. But John Malcolm Fleming Churchill, Mad Jack to both his friend and foes, was very real.
It's the most British name I've ever heard.
A professional soldier and champion archer, Churchill believed, as he put it, quote, any officer who goes into action without his sword is improperly dressed, end quote. He wasn't joking. During the retreat from France in 1940, Churchill and his men encountered a German patrol. With perfect composure, he took aim with his longbow and felled a German sergeant. The only confirmed kill with a bow and arrow in the entire war. Later in Norway, he led charges armed with a claymore. On one occasion, he and a single comrade infiltrated a German position using stealth and steel. He approached their post in the dead of night and threatened them with his sword. 42 soldiers surrendered to the madman with the blade.
I would surrender immediately. I'd probably surrender in most war scenarios. I've never been involved in any military stuff or training. I've never even handled a gun before. I have never held a gun. As an American, I'm sure that surprised a lot of people. I would surrender very quickly, and it doesn't make me... All right, sorry.
And eventually wounded in Italy, Churchill, bleeding but unperturbed, calmly pulled out his bagpipes and played a Scottish tune until the Germans arrived.
We're going to get rid of your Wi-Fi. Me, I surrender. I'm sorry. Okay.
Unperturbed, calmly pulled out his
God damn it, it hurts me how kind of true that is, though.
Eventually wounded in Italy, Churchill, bleeding but unperturbed, calmly pulled out his bagpipes and played a Scottish tune until the Germans arrived. He was sent to a concentration camp. He escaped, captured again, escaped again, and when the war finally ended, he was reportedly disappointed, stating, quote, if it wasn't for those damn Yanks, we could have kept the war going for another 10 years.
Sir?
Mad Jack may have loved the sound of his bagpipes, but sometimes you need to hear the world around you while still keeping your own.
I know that it depends on like your experiences growing up, but regardless of that, some people are just different, kind of built differently. And he's one of them.
Soundtrack. That's where today's sponsor, Raycon.
Like a lot of people, I've seen like Vietnam vets, because that's like the oldest war where we have a lot of footage of interviews with veterans in the USA. And 95% of them are like, it was horrible, I can't believe it. And then 5% are like, they react differently.
Comes in. Raycon's essential open earbud.
Guys, you can fast forward if you want. I'm reacting to Simple History's video. I'm going to watch through the advertisements. If you're interested in the Raycon stuff and you learned about it and your interest arose from me watching it, please use their promo codes and links. Original link, top of the description.
Are designed to keep your ears open while still delivering crystal clear sound. The open ear design means you can stay aware of what's happening around you, whether it's traffic, coworkers, or the distant rumble of artillery, without giving up your music or podcast quality. Personally, I use them on the battlefield. They're comfortable, they don't weigh me down, and the open design means I can still hear the orders being shouted around me while tuning into the soundtrack that keeps me focused. And with 36 hours of battery life between the earbuds and the case, they'll last you through long campaigns. Raycon quality rivals the big premium audio brands, but at half the price. So if you want comfort, awareness, and great audio all in one, click the link in the description or go to buyraycon.com/simplehistoryopen to get 20% off site-wide. That's buyraycon.com/simplehistoryopen.
Not only will you get 20% off, guys, you'll also give Simple History what they deserve, and that their sponsor will know that you came from them. Just
Brought
it's
to you by Raycon, the Umbrella Commando. If Churchill was a throwback to medieval warfare, then Major Allison Digby Tatum Warder was Victorian eccentricity in combat boots.
I don't think I know about this guy.
Serving in the 1st Airborne Division during Operation Market Garden. in combat boots. Serving in the 1st Airborne Division during Operation Market Garden, he gained notoriety not just for courage, but for doing everything slightly oddly. Anticipating communication breakdowns, he ordered his men to learn bugle calls instead of relying on radios. He frequently forgot passwords at checkpoints, so he carried a large umbrella, reasoning it would be...
What is a bugle again, guys? Bugle. Oh, a bugle is like the classic military horn thingamajig.
Quite obvious to words at checkpoints, so he carried a large umbrella, reasoning it would be quite obvious to anyone that the bloody fool carrying the umbrella could only be an Englishman. It worked. In one engagement under heavy German fire, he calmly walked through the chaos to rescue the battalion chaplain. "Don't worry about the bullets, I've got an umbrella," he reassured him. Later, in an iconic moment of absurdity, Tatum Warder led a charge against German tanks, armed with nothing but a pistol and the same umbrella. Wearing a bowler hat for good measure, he thrust the umbrella into the vision slit of an armored...
As much as I admire this, you've got to be a bit insane, a bit mad to be this way.
...car.
But all power to you.
For good measure, he thrust the umbrella into the vision slit of an armored car, injuring the driver and disabling the vehicle. Let it be recorded, a British officer once took out an armored car
with an umbrella
with rain gear. The Chindits, oddballs behind enemy lines. While eccentricity makes for great stories, sometimes it's a prerequisite for survival. In Japanese-occupied Burma, the jungle proved just as dangerous as the enemy. Conventional tactics failed. Enter Brigadier Ord Wingate and Mad Mike Calvert, the 2 unorthodox commanders, with an even more unorthodox plan to create long-range air-supplied commando units that would harass...
My God, my brain is so stupid sometimes.
...as the enemy. Conventional tactics failed. Enter Brigadier Ord Wingate and Mad Mike Calvert, the 2 unorthodox commanders, with an even more unorthodox plan to create long-range air-supplied commando units that would harass Japanese forces far behind enemy lines. Their recruits were a special breed, men who were either incredibly brave or slightly unhinged. One was a demolition expert from the Black Watch, another a Rhodesian hangman. One reportedly ate cigarettes rather than smoked them. Observers referred to them as odds and sods, including...
I appreciate... I know my limitations, all right? I like to kind of contemplate my own kind of downsides. I think it's healthy. It's not to an unhealthy extent, but I admire people who are so capable in situations that I know I'm not capable in, because they provide something so useful. I forget my point.
Several lunatics and deserters. They were known as the Chindits, a corrupted pronunciation of the Burmese word for lion. Operating in brutal conditions, they built strongholds deep in enemy territory and launched constant raids. When ammunition ran low, they fought hand-to-hand. Stories abound of Japanese troops being killed with rifle butts, helmets, or captured swords. One sergeant is said to have wrestled a katana from a Japanese officer and used it to kill him. Calvert himself once drowned an enemy soldier with his bare hands. The Chindits earned 4 Victoria Crosses, dozens of Distinguished Service Orders, and hundreds of individual decorations.
Taken from brass cannons from the Crimean War, right?
They dozens of Distinguished Service Orders and hundreds of individual decorations. They were feral, fearless, and effective. Proof that in certain wars, sanity is optional.
Yeah, sanity is optional. You know, part of me thinks, like, if being kind of not having the same emotional sensibilities as others probably won't do well in normal society. And so why, through evolutionary means, why has that trait continued to survive throughout humanity when these people are clearly not so fit in regular society? And then I watch stuff like this and I'm like, oh, right. They're incredibly effective in warfare.
Weaponized humor.
You know what I mean?
Trolling the Third Reich.
Totally.
British humor is infamous, dry, ironic, and often absurd. And yeah, they used it against the Nazis. At some point during the war, the Germans constructed an elaborate fake airfield, complete with wooden hangars, oil tanks, and even mock aircraft. It was an obvious decoy, designed to trick the Allies into wasting bombs on worthless targets. The British knew it was fake almost immediately, but rather than destroy it, they let the Germans keep building. Once the ruse was complete, an RAF bomber flew over and dropped a single bomb. Wooden, of course. Painted on the sides were the words, "Wood for wood." Whether this tale is...
To be in an all-out war and have that how was I gonna say?
Entire an RAF bomber flew over and dropped a single bomb.
Wood for wood.
Wooden, of course.
To be in an all-out war and have that humor is insane.
Painted on the sides were the words, "Wood for wood." Whether this tale is entirely true is debatable. Some historians argue it's apocryphal. But eyewitnesses, RAF veterans, and even Luftwaffe personnel have insisted it did happen. And frankly, even if it didn't, it should have. Because dropping a fake bomb on a fake airfield is exactly the kind of psychological warfare only the British would consider worth the fuel. Still singing as the ship sinks. This blend of absurdity and defiance didn't...
I mean, anything that's crazy on the British mainland forces, I could be very wrong, but I would imagine even more so on the Navy ocean-going forces, because that's just what Britain is known for, is its extremely powerful Navy. And so I'd imagine any sort of traditions you have on the land would be even more so on the water.
And with World War II. In 1982, during the Falklands War, the Royal Navy's HMS Sheffield was struck by an Exocet missile. As the ship burned and began to sink, her crew stood on deck awaiting evacuation. The situation was grim. Smoke thick, water's cold, lives at risk. What did the sailors do? They broke into song. Not just any song, but Monty Python's Always Look on the Bright Side of Life. The irony was sharp, the morale unshaken. The story...
I have nothing against Argentina. It seems like an amazing country. All right, obviously I love Great Britain. I love England, Great Britain, Scotland, Ireland, Northern Ireland, Wales. Love them. But it seems strange to pick a fight with a power that 40 years ago and to the 80s was very much declining in power. And then you try and start a fight with them where I'm sure a lot of them are just itching to get back out there. I'm not sure how smart that is.
It was taken on board, literally, as the crew of the HMS Coventry also sang the tune when their ship was hit and went down. Apparently, it was a moment that perfectly captured the British wartime spirit. Gallows humor wrapped in stoic composure. Conclusion: madness as a method. From swords and umbrellas to teacups and wooden bombs, British eccentricity in wartime wasn't mere showmanship. It was an identity, a national trait weaponized into morale, mischief, and mayhem. When faced with overwhelming odds, some armies double down on discipline. The British? They'll make tea, charge tanks with walking sticks, and whistle a tune as the bombs fall.
Well, ironically, I think that is more discipline than the other form of discipline. I think that this insaneness might arise from being so disciplined that...
And somehow, against all reason, it often works. Because when war turns the world upside down, a little madness might be the sanest thing of all.
Perfectly said. Fantastic video. I think if this is your first time watching, then hello. My name's Connor. I love England. I love Great Britain. Very much so. Not more than my own country, all right? I'm American. We have problems, but more of a kind of loyal New Englander than I am American in any sense. But I do love my country. But Britain is so unexplainably fascinating to me. I see it in a very romantic lens that I'm sure makes me appreciate England and Britain more than I probably should. And I recognize that, but I think you guys are awesome. And anything I laugh at, I hope you know that I mean it in appreciation. And I would like to think if I was under fire and things were going disastrously, then I'd prefer a British approach to pretty much any other country's approach. And is going insane and giving up going to help your situation? Probably not. And the best chance you have is probably acting like a British officer. So, fantastic. Love y'all. Hope you're all doing well. Would appreciate any comments down below. If you disagree with anything I said, would love to see it in the comments. Call me out. Say what I said was wrong or you disagree with. Would love to see it. Answering any of my questions you guys are always awesome with. Hope you're all doing well. And I'll see you guys next time. We'll keep on learning together. Bye, guys.